All right. Quick question. If an attacker broke into your company's network right now, do you think you would even notice? Most breaches go undetected for weeks or even months. Crazy, right? Well, that's exactly where the SIEM comes in. The tool that helps SOC analyst and a security team to catch the bad guys before they cause too much damage. So, hey everyone, Infosec Pandey here, and welcome back to the SOC Analyst 100 Days Learning Challenge. You have made it to day 7, and today we are diving into SIEM Basics. So, by end of this video, you will understand what a SIEM is, why it is so important, how it works, its key features, and even get a look at some popular SIEM tool used in the industry. So if you are ready to start thinking like a real SOC analyst, stick around. This is going to be fun. So what we will cover in this video, so we are going to cover the topics like what is a SIEM, why does SIEM matter, how does a SIEM works, key feature of SIEM, architecture walkthrough of SIEM. So we are going to cover the Splunk architecture and then Sentinel architecture. All right, then popular SIEM tools, and at the last, wrapping up why SIEM is your best friend in the cybersecurity. So, what is a SIEM? So, let's start with the basics. SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. So, sounds fancy, right? But in simple term, it is like a giant security brain that collect logs and event from all across your IT environment, your firewall, your servers, application endpoint, and more. So imagine being a detective to solve a case. You need evidence from cameras, witness, fingerprints, and reports, right? So SIEM does the same thing for cybersecurity. It gather all the evidence in one place so you can investigate what is happening. So here is a visual. You can see the logs from various data sources like firewall, antivirus, IDS, bring your own system, routers, VPNs. So SIEM collect all these log into the brain and correlate the data so a SOC analyst can monitor the suspicious activity in the environment. Cool, right? Then we have why does SIEM matter? Now you might ask, why do we even need a SIEM? So well, here is the deal. Organizations generate million of log per day, so there is no way a human can sit and read them all, right? So SIEM help make sense of that chaos. It detect suspicious activity, flag potential threat, and gives SOC analyst a chance to respond before things spiral out of control. So this is a sophisticated environment, you can say. So here we have a lot of IT systems like endpoints, servers, database, firewall, right? So SIEM collect all these data and event, and also we have some configuration and asset information, business units, business locations, business process, network map. So SIEM is collecting all these data. Also we have software in inventory, and we have various office locations. So you can see this is Pennsylvania and this is Boston. So we have a lot of offices as well. So SIEM is collecting all these information here and sending these information to a SOC analyst. So SOC analyst can monitor the suspicious activity like 10.100.20.18 initiated database copy using credential, uh, US sales sync act to remote host to status code. So SOC analyst can monitor this activity remotely and respond before the things goes wrong. So why does SIEM matter? So SIEM collect all the log at the centralized location, faster threat detection. So it correlate the data and understand the pattern. So you can detect faster, efficient incident response. So you have all the details like which system is affected, where the activity is happening, and the other systems which are infected. So you can faster isolate the endpoints or servers to stop the breach. Compliance and auditing. So there are many compliance which required to retain the log for 1 year, 2 year, or 7 year. So this will fulfill your compliance requirement. Also, threat intel integration. So you can integrate threat intel with your SIEM data, and you can get the latest attacks, emerging threat detail in your organization. And there are some other uh, uh, there are some other requirement as well for SIEM. So we will cover this in upcoming video. All right, so how does a SIEM works? Okay, so how does SIEM actually do its magic? Let's break it down. So step number one, collect data. So SIEM collect data from server, network, device, etc. So it pulls log from across your network like firewall log, alert, antivirus details, operating system, you name it. Then data normalization and aggregation of the data. So different systems generate different format of logs, right? So SIEM cleans and standardized them so everything is readable and comparable. Correlation. So correlation is the cool part. The SIEM connects the dot. For example, failed login attempt from one IP followed by a successful login and then large file transfer. So boom, that could be the brute force attack followed by a data exfiltration. So SIEM can easily connect the dot. Analysis and detection. So analysis and detection like investigating alert, identifying breaches, and take action. Alert and reporting. So alert and reporting like regular reporting. Suppose you want a report for for a server where the user is logging every day, so you can schedule a report and uh, send it to a specific group of people. So you can understand what is happening on your server. Incident response and forensics. So this is very important part where you can perform the incident response and the forensic activity. So suppose any breach happened on any server, so you can go and check the log, what exactly happened, when happened. So this will help you to comply your uh, organization. All right, so the next part we have key feature of a SIEM. So now let's talk about some key feature that make. So number one, log collection. So you can collect log from various log nodes like firewall, endpoint, etc. Then log analysis. So you can perform log analysis on your console. Event correlation. So in previous section, I have given you the uh, example for the data correlation. So suppose uh, you're getting a failed login from one IP and then suddenly you got a successful login from the same IP and then a file transfer event. So this is called event correlation. Then log forensics. So log forensics will help you to understand what happened on the machine or network. IT compliance. So yeah, as I told, SIEM is uh, capable to fulfill your compliance requirement. Application log monitoring. So if you have any custom application or you have some well-known application, so you can save the logs to uh, saves the log to SIEM. Object access auditing. So this is also very important. So you can do the auditing on any object, who access, when access, so all those detail you will get. And real-time monitoring. So your 24 bar 7 SOC can monitor the real-time changes user behavior analytic engine. So it helps us to identify the user related activities. Then also we can create dashboard reporting. So like you can configure the regular reporting or weekly reporting for your business requirement. File integrity monitoring. So you can monitor the file integrity changes based on the log sources. Then also system and device log monitoring. So you can monitor all your endpoints, your devices, etc. And then for compliance requirement, you can retain the log for 1 year, 2 year, or 7 year. So basically, it is like having a Swiss Army knife for security monitoring. Then we have architecture walkthrough of Splunk. So Splunk is currently boss of SIEM. So Splunk is boss of SIEM. So this is an image of consolidated view of various Splunk SIEM component involved in the process and their functionalities. So you can receive data from various network port, like here we have port, then detect file changes, monitor files, run a script. So here you can deploy the forwarders, you can monitor the file coming in and detect the changes in real time. So the forwarder has the capability to intelligently route the data, clone the data, and do load balancing here. So as I mentioned earlier, the deployment server is used for managing the entire deployment configuration and policies. And when the data is received, it is stored in an indexer. So here is the indexer. So indexer is then broken down into different logical data stores, and each data store you can set permission which will control what each user view and access and use. So suppose if you want to give access the firewall log to network team, you can provide so they cannot see other data like active directory data or windows data, so they can only see the firewall data. So once data is in, you can search the data in the indexer. So all the searching you can done in the data indexer by writing the index. So apart from that, you can also do the schedule searches, alerting, create report, knowledge object. So based on the indexer and data, you can do all these things. Search ahead and knowledge objects can be accessed from Splunk CLI or a web interface using REST APIs. So this communication happens over a REST API communication. All right. So the next one we have a general SIEM architecture provided by Science Institute. So here you can see we have various layers: user interaction layer, workflow automation layer, monitoring analytic layer, data management layer, and log source. So let's understand this architecture. Various log sources: network device, security device, app, endpoints. So these are the log sources. What we can do with these log sources, we can collect these data, we can aggregate these data, we can correlate and store these data. So this is called the data management layer. And then we can go on the monitoring and analytic layer. So once we stored all the data, we can do the analytics, we can do monitoring and auditing under this monitoring and analytic layer. And also we can correlate data with threat intel feeds so we can understand the real time attacks. Then we have workflow and automation layer where we can deploy our SOC team or threat hunting team or incident response team to take actions. Also, we can fulfill the compliance like HIPAA, SOX, PCI DSS, GDPR on workflow and automation layer. Also, the forensic searches and activities like evidence collection we can perform on the automation layer. Then also we have user interaction layer where we can create a report and send it to a specific group of people. We can create alert and send it. Also the dashboard can be created on the user interaction layer. So also we have Azure Sentinel SIEM architecture. So we are going to put all the Sentinel component in all these layers. So like data connectors. So Sentinel have the data connectors inbuilt like OMS agent, syslog, direct connectivity, log analytic API. Also we can forward data from Azure Event Hub and third party SIEM analytic platform also possible to send it to data connectors. On-prem endpoint, VM, appliances, cloud services. So we can send all these data to Sentinel using data connectors. Then we have data management layer where we have a log analytic workspace. So log analytic workspace is like a data storage workspace where we can store the data, we can create custom data, we can delete data, we can filter data. Also, the KQL queries and correlation searches run on the log analytic workspace. Then we have data enrichment layer where we can enrich the data with third party Intel, Jupyter Notebook, or Graph API. And then we have automation layer where we can deploy the third party SOAR to take actions like automated response and all. Also, we have inbuilt Azure Logic app which can automatically take action on the alerts. Then we have user interaction layer where we can create dashboard, hunting queries, use cases, Jupyter Notebook, and third-party visualization like dashboard. Easy, right? Then also we got Microsoft Sentinel log ingestion architecture here. So this will help you to understand how we can ingest a log from various data sources. So here we have on-prem and IS data, which includes syslog, SAFE, and custom log. So we can send it through SAFE format, syslog format, uh, into a machine where we have Linux, where we have deployed the AMA agent. Also, we can use the log stash. Here is the firewall, which is going to help you to communicate the on-prem data to cloud. So this Sentinel is on the cloud, it's not on-prem. So for the Windows servers, you can deploy a WEF policy to a single machine, and here you can deploy the agent called AMA, and you can send data to log analytic workspace. Also, there is another way, log analytic gateway, so you can send all the data to gateway, and in the gateway you can deploy the MMA agent. So this is how we can transfer on-prem data to Microsoft Sentinel, and also the IoT data you can send using Defender for IoT sensors. So you can deploy the sensors on these appliances, and then you can collect the log directly from IoT connector. So these are native data connectors. You can just go and enable the connectors in the Sentinel, and it will directly start sending logs to Sentinel within few clicks. Azure Diagnostic Log, you can just go and configure a policy for it. Virtual machine, so if it is Azure virtual machine, then it will be in same cloud, and you can just go and enable the setting. So it will start sending log to Sentinel. Also, you can use the REST API for your custom application like JS, TypeScript, Python, etc. So you can use the REST API method. So Microsoft Intelligence, third-party vendors can be uh, send send data using REST API. Let me know if you have any doubt. Then we got the Splunk architecture. So in the Splunk also we can power data from various data sources like syslog, TCP, UDP, and network devices. Mounted files. So this feature I really like. So if you can mount the file path and file system, and this will start sending log to Splunk using universal forwarder. Then event log performance, database connect, wire data, HTTP event collector. So these are the methods that you can use. So you need to either deploy the universal forwarder, or you can use the API script or hack connector like HTTP event collector to send these data to Splunk. Then the next one we got popular SIM tool. Now you might be wondering what SIM tool are out there. So some of the most popular SIM tools are Splunk, Microsoft, IBM QRadar, Securonics, Exabeams. So they are the leaders. So I collected this report from Magic Quadrant for SIEM, and this is January 2024 report. And also we have some visionaries like Google, Gurukul, Elastic, OpenText, Devo, and uh, niche players. So niche players like LogRhythm. So LogRhythm is now part of Exabeam. Also we have some challenger player here. So like Sumo Logic, Rapid7, Fortinet. Also there are some like niche player, Log, NetWitness, Huawei, Logpoint, etc. If you are just starting, don't worry. You don't need to master all of them right away. Even practicing with open source SIEM like Wazuh or ELK stack is great start. So if you go in the industry, you will see two major players, Splunk and Sentinel. So that's why I have included the architecture for these tools. So most of the organization deployed these two tools. But if you are a beginner and want to practice in a home lab, then you can go for Wazuh and ELK. Splunk and Sentinel do have free trial version for 1 month or 15 days. So you can deploy these tool in your home lab as well. All right. So if it is making sense so far and you are learning something new, hit the like button. It really help more learners find this series and keep me motivated to create more content for you. So here is the bottom line. SIM is your best friend in cybersecurity. It help you to monitor, detect and respond to threats in real time, and without it, SOC analyst would be drawing in log behind to the bigger picture. So with SIEM, you have got eyes everywhere and the ability to spot attacker before they succeed. So it is one of the most essential tool in any SOC analyst toolkit. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried working with SIEM tool like Splunk, QRadar, or Wazuh? Drop your experience in the comment below. And if you are finding this SOC 100 days series useful, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss day 8. Thank you so much.